Alright, friends. Target delivered the goods. Inside this box, I have my Hammond collection pre-order for the Therizinosaurus and the Giganotosaurus, and I couldn't be more excited. So let's crack this open and see what they look like. Since these are two epic Hammond collection figures that we have been waiting for, I'm going to do a separate video for the Therizinosaurus and be able to give it the attention it deserves. Now, before we jump right into this, I want to give a Spino alert. As many of you know, the Spinosaurus is my favorite dinosaur, but the new Spino Cage Crasher is live on Amazon. Nobody's really posted about it just yet. I put my order in there, so hopefully it comes sometime this week, but check the link in the description below. I mean, if you're a Spino fan, you gotta add it to the collection. It has like a little Play-Doh poo type of thing, it has a phone, and like a bunch of other accessories. A very unique piece, and as many of you know, the longevity of the Spinosaurus within the Mattel line seems to be short-lived, so if you are on the fence about this, jump on it now, and don't regret it later if you can't get it. But back to this beastie, pretty traditional Hammond collection packaging. Looks beautiful. We have a nice product illustration at the front, an open window, and these eyes look amazing. I know in the past, some people have had issues with the eyes in general, but that does not seem to be the case, at least with mine. On the side, we have another beautiful illustration with the Jurassic World Dominion logo, and then on the backhand side, everything is sprawled out a little bit more, showing you everything that this Giganotosaurus is capable of. On the bottom right-hand corner, it shows us some other offerings that are going to be available. Claire, Delta, and the Pyroraptor have already been announced, but haven't been released yet. For usual, here's the barcode and the Target DPCI to help you track this down in store. I would imagine these will be hitting Target stores in the masses. It's just a matter of when. And right off the bat, this is a hefty figure. I mean, it's heavy. It's a heavy piece. You'll notice it right when you pick it up. But I'm excited. Let's crack this open. Alright, the Giganotosaurus out of the packaging, and this is quite the beast. A new apex predator to the Hammond collection, and this one is probably a front runner for my favorite out of the Hammond collection. You know, it was the Carnotaurus, and you know, obviously that could change once they drop a Spinosaurus, which hopefully is sometime soon. But I guess the biggest takeaway is that they continue to improve this Hammond collection line. I mean, they've come a long way since our first Rexy with like the cloudy glass eyes. And here is a close-up of that glass eye. Nice and clear representation. It is two separate pieces and not one piece, so the light won't be shining through, but that is absolutely beautiful. And of course, for comparison, here is our G1 Rexy. You can see the cloudiness in the eye right there. And you know, this was their first attempt, so you can't really dock them that much. I mean, at least they're trying, and at least they continued to make improvements to what we have now. As far as measurements go, this is one of our longest, so from tail to tip of the mouth, we are looking at about 28 inches. And as far as height goes, in a very neutral, walking, casual pose, I'd say about 10 inches. Let's throw a few other Hammond collection dinosaurs. We have our largest and tallest, the Brachiosaurus, next to our Tyrannosaurus Rex and our Dimetrodon. They absolutely crushed this. The scaling looks amazing. Holy cow, these are going to display so well on shelf. I just got to find some room. As it sits right now, we are getting a lot of bang for our buck with this. The sculpting looks fantastic. I mean, look at all the little details on those like dorsal spines right there. Amazing. The color, the paint apps look phenomenal. Even like the teeth right here, they're like yellow and like discolored, and just like you could tell that it's been snacking on some other dinosaurs. But check this out, it doesn't stop there. At the roof of the mouth, there is sculpting. There's like waves and patterns all throughout. It's not like just one flat piece. It looks amazing. And then there's taste buds at the tongue with like some little wrinkles and grooves. It looks totally authentic. I would have killed to have had this as a kid, but hey, I have it now as an adult, so better late than never. While we're here, let's take a look at that articulation. That tongue is on a hinge joint. I can move it up in a floating position like it's doing a type of roar, and it doesn't go up any more than that, but that is okay because we probably wouldn't use that anyways. So I can click that back down. We can close the mouth. Two separate joints here at the top of the head and the lower part of the jaw. I can open it up about that far. So yeah, that is as far as that will open up there. Now this cheek piece right here is like a rubber type of material, which is great because, you know, that will help conform to opening and closing of the mouth. Tongue is also made out of a similar material. Now I can take this top head joint and I can close it down, partially closing the mouth without even touching the lower part of the jaw. And then if I want to bring them both together, obviously I could just close them just like so, and I can open just the lower jaw if I wanted to, and close the lower jaw but open up just the head piece. It's great because those little movements will give a lot of personality to this. Moving down from the head, we have two neck joints there which can be moved independently, so this top piece right here doesn't have quite as much movement as the lower piece that connects to the body, but you can still move it up and down, and a little movement from left to right, which is great. So in combination between all of this, you can get some some good range of motion here. Looking down, this is about as far as this head will look all the way down and then upwards before these like neck spines get in the way. And then from left to right, we have even more articulation looking from side to side, and that looks great. These joints feel nice and stiff. Nothing feels loose. It just feels really solid and really sturdy. And then from there, the body has no articulation, which I think is a smart move. They strayed away from what they did with the G1 Rexy, which I do appreciate the effort and the idea here, but I can see this wearing out over time. You know, if you hold it in a neutral position, she is going to tend to flop down just a little bit. They tried, they gave it a shot. It is the effort that counts, and I'm just happy that they're making improvements and not just staying with the same old models and material. The arms have a great amount of articulation. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different joints, which are all going to be pretty much hinges and swivels. So here at the shoulder, I could take this arm and I can bring it up a little bit higher than 90 degrees, like a full right angle, and I can take this and spin it around. Again, the joints feel nice and stiff. Loving this big time. And then here at this elbow, we have a hinge and swivel, but in different positions. So I can take this arm and I can get about 90 degrees out of it, and I can flex it straight down. No hyperextension here, which is fine. We don't really need that. And I could take this joint and spin her on around. The claws are nice and painted with a glossy paint to them. You can see there's all that textures and grooves throughout. The scales look fantastic. Same type of deal here. Hinge and swivel, flexing forwards and backwards. And I can also spin this baby around. The legs have some sturdy joints here, especially at the hips. So it's like a gear. So every time you like twist it, it clicks into place to the next slot, which is great because that'll help prevent it from, you know, getting loose. Like if it was just like a smooth ball bearing type of deal, it would wear out over time, whereas this clicks into place and it prevents it from like falling into the next gear. So this is great. We can move it forward and backwards. Doesn't look like I can go all the way around, which is fine, and I don't really like to do that to my joints anyways. But moving on down from there, we have hinges and swivels at both of our knees. So if I took this like hip and I had it in a let's see here, in a neutral position like this, I could take this leg here and I can flex it straight out, kind of doing like a running pose, and I can flex just this joint backwards. So good amount of movement, and it looks like that swivel will allow us to spin this all the way around, which is pretty impressive, not gonna lie. Then that next joint down is gonna be the same type of deal. You know, this is like a backwards knee type of thing. So flexing forwards and backwards, and I should be able to spin this around. And this is great. You can tell that these joints are nice and sturdy because when I spin this one, this is the only joint that's spinning. These up here are not like moving or, you know, getting stuck in a different position while I manipulate this one. And then down here at the ankle, the trend continues, a hinge and a swivel. I can flex this upwards, and that is nice and stiff. That looks great. Wow, actually even more. That's fantastic. I can take this and move it backwards as well. Great hyperextension. And then I can also take this foot and spin her all the way around. No problem. Nails look nice and clean. Glossy paint just like the hands. More scales and grooves throughout. Great texture. And then of course, looking to the bottom of the feet, we have our Jurassic World logo, and we have some more texture throughout. They didn't skimp out on this whatsoever. Looks fantastic. Oh, and we have one last joint here at the hips. I could take this leg and bring it outwards and inwards. Not a whole lot of movement, but that's okay. I mean, we don't really need this doing the splits anyways. Now, I can't stress enough how important strong and sturdy joints are at the legs, because this is the foundation of the entire toy or the entire dinosaur, and you want to be able to get some cool dynamic poses without this like toppling over or without the joints getting super loose and being like unusable. I think Mattel absolutely crushed it with the overall functionality of these joints. I tried to do some epic, exaggerated, you know, defensive pose or something like this, and it holds up just well without it toppling over or even any risk of it falling over. Alright, our last area of articulation is going to be here at the tail. It comes in two different pieces inside of the box. So we have a more plastic area here which connects to the body, and this will give us range of motion going in like a ball joint type of motion. You can't take out any of these segments of the tail. Once they've been clicked in, you're going to just destroy this. Trust me. And from the next segment down, this is actually really impressive. I've said this before in my other videos. This is a rubber type of material, and they have like a wire in here. But they match it up so well with two different pieces of material, and it still looks good. Like, I mean, you can't even tell the difference until you actually touch it. Then you're like, wow, this is actually like rubber. Because it has that wire at the tail, you can get a lot of posability out of this. I mean, just absolutely incredible. Up, down, left, right, anywhere that you want to really position this. You can probably even make like the letter Z out of this if you really wanted to. All right, that is going to wrap up this review and unboxing of the new Hammond Collection Giganotosaurus, a Target exclusive exclusive. Now, this might be my favorite dinosaur from the Hammond collection. I don't know, it is a front runner, like I said previously. It has an immaculate sculpt, the paint applications look phenomenal, the glass eye is probably the best that they've ever done. I'm just really loving that green hue, it looks so lifelike. The articulation is basically perfect, there isn't anything that I would really add to this. I think they nailed it at every aspect. There was a lot of attention paid to this sculpt. I mean, even down to the teeth. The yellowing and like the discoloration looks fantastic. I gotta say, I think this is a 10 out of 10, especially as far as Hammond collection goes. I mean, the sculpting, the detail, everything down to it. Even the price point, $49, pretty affordable for everything that you're getting here. So it's been like 2 days since I actually received this and filming this and editing and all that kind of stuff. So since that time frame, not a lot of people are finding this in store just yet. I would imagine that they will be trickling in and hitting in the masses. Don't freak out just yet. Don't start buying from scalpers on eBay. I do feel confident that these will be hitting Target stores and restocking online. On that same note, I will say the Hammond collection figures have a track record of running out of stock very quickly, or at least not showing up on shelves as long as some others. For example, the Gallimimus and the Dilophosaurus hit stores once, and I think they even cleared some of them out, but once they ran out, that was it. They never restocked, and now they're going for a lot of money on the aftermarkets. In fact, a lot of the Hammond collection figures, once they're done, they tend to skyrocket in value quite a bit. So the moral of the story is, if this is something that you want and you see this, grab it right away, don't regret it later, and don't pay aftermarket prices. And of course, per usual, I will put the shopping links in the description down below, so be sure to check those out and bookmark them so you stay at the ready. But that's all I got for you today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to connect with me on Instagram and TikTok to stay up to date when new things drop, like the Giganotosaurus and the rest of the Hammond collection figures. I also post toy photography and toy videos. But if you did enjoy this unboxing and review, be sure to like and subscribe. It helps out the channel and it lets me know that I'm doing a good job. Until then, paleontologists, I will see y'all in the next video.